This episode of TRS is brought to you by Windows Azure. Coming up, we check in once again to see what else is on our radar this week.
We are back for On My Radar. It's sort of an opportunity for us to talk about things that don't really fit into our usually scheduled program. One of those things is the amazing Jeff got to see some...
I fit.
You fit right in. But now, the amazing Jeff, who doesn't fit, can be amazing here because you got to see the pre-E3 Activision stuff.
Yeah, I haven't been able to talk about Modern Warfare 3 yet, even though there was a big leak, of course, we all know. But they showed us stuff, and we've been under embargo, but now finally, shackles are off.
Hit us with it. What?
So they showed 2 single-player levels. There's still more stuff that they showed that I can't talk about yet, but 2 major single-player levels. We're back in the Modern Warfare universe. That means it's picking up directly after the end of Modern Warfare 2. So this is not the COD Blops storyline thread. This is Modern Warfare picking up with Tavish and all those guys.
Oh, cool.
And what they said is that it picks up right at the end. Where I mean, so that's cool. The levels that they showed us the first one was New York, and
awesome.
There is a war with Russia in New York, and you're fighting down Wall Street.
Amazing.
It could be exactly what I wish Homefront was going to be.
Yeah. I mean, it reminded me a lot of Crisis 2.
Yeah, right, because that was
But no aliens, right? And there's tanks and stuff and jets and helicopters all in the skyscrapers. You go inside a building and you're shooting through office building, and then you come out into the New York Stock Exchange. And, you know, the thing that's so cool about it is, you know, I've always been one of those guys that, ever since I was a little kid, I would look at something and go, oh man, I'd love to play in that. Just the angles and shapes of those, like the New York Stock Exchange. And then as an older person, it's like paintball.
Yeah.
I go, oh, I'd love to play paintball in that.
Yeah.
Well, this is totally that fantasy come to life. You're in the stock exchange, then you come out on the top of the skyscrapers. And the thing that's struck me so much is how seamless the scale is going from indoors to outdoors to huge moments to, you know, you get in a helicopter and now you're above all of it, and there's this huge helicopter battle weaving in and out of skyscrapers and half-built skyscrapers. Seamless, no loading.
Wow.
Incredible.
And so what was the other level?
Second level was in London, and it was another nighttime level, crazy infiltrate, kind of be stealthy, and then the shit hits the fan and you're going through, and it ends with this intense, spectacular subway chase. Tube, I guess it would be in London. Bad guy gets on the tube takes off. They're like, oh shit, go guys. They get in a truck on the tracks next to, weaving in and out, coming at you, bright light, weave over here. Yeah, and of course you're not driving, you're just shooting. So it's like, one of those moments in Modern Warfare we know so well of that sort of on rails thing.
Yeah, the Panzer Dragoon.
And literally on rails in this situation.
So what you're 10 to 1, how excited are you?
You know, I tend to get burnt out on these Modern Warfare things, but I gotta say, looking at that, I got really excited again. They haven't revealed multiplayer yet, but there's gonna be big multiplayer news.
Of course. I mean, the multiplayer stuff is gonna be...
It doesn't look... I mean, it's a great looking game. It doesn't look as impressive as when I saw Battlefield, the new Battlefield that's coming out that we're gonna see at E3. I saw that at GDC and I was impressed visually. This, not as much, but it's still got that like on 11 crazy
Well, I'm sure we'll
stuff.
see more at E3.
We will.
Good to get a little flavor. Speaking of Tintin, Dan, what's on your radar?
I want to talk about Tintin.
Oh, that's so funny. We were just talking about it.
So the teaser trailer for Tintin came out, much anticipated for most of the world, as Tintin is, I think, one of the most popular. I don't know, comic book or illustrated comic strip thing. I remember growing up with the cartoon on HBO. I watched Babar and Tintin.
Very dry cartoon.
Yeah, they were.
Dry British
they really
cartoons.
were. So I never really got the excitement about Tintin. But
although I think Babar's French. Right?
I think Tintin's French as well.
No. I mean, I think it's. Forget about it.
Okay. Anyway, so Tintin. Every amazing name and amazingness is attached to this movie. The first one is directed by Steven Spielberg. I believe the second one is directed by Peter Jackson.
Well, no, produced by, but yeah.
But they're both produced by both of them. But Steven Spielberg directed this first one, and Peter Jackson's supposed to be directing the second entree planned trilogy, or however many. Written by Stephen Moffat of Doctor Who and shows we talk about, Jekyll, right? Exactly. Edgar Wright, you know, and Joe Cornish, who you will know when his movie Attack of the Block comes out, that everyone is raving about the urban kids with the alien. It's supposed to be amazing. And this one, yes. So Steven Spielberg doing a mocap film, the way that Zemeckis had done his mocap films. Wow. I was gonna review like a movie. Like, what do you guys think? I mean, I am on the one hand very. I'm excited to see what Spielberg does in this realm of the animated movie. I also am bummed that this is not a live action movie. And because one of the funny things about Zemeckis and Spielberg both have very similar camera work in their movies, and I feel like what's exciting about their camera work is that it is in live action when
it
you
exists in the real world.
Yeah, when you can do these intricate camera moves. I mean, it's not that as special to do it in an animated movie. That aside. Holy crap, dude, I just love, we don't really get these kinds of movies, these adventure movies so often.
Yeah.
Now we're getting one from the guy, the venture began, you know, like the man that started it all.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for that. So
yeah, I have a little bit of mixties just because there's a little dead face at the end, you know, with the real close up, and I was like, oh, dead face. But
yeah, it's interesting. The teaser, there are many shots that enter you into this that look like it could be live action.
Right.
And they don't show you the characters all the way, and you're like, oh, this is the live action Steven Spielberg movie. And then when you do see the characters, it's like, you get that recent Zemeckis movie letdown of like, oh God, I don't want it to feel like those.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna all have low expectations because we're let down that it's an animated, thing.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that when I remember walking out of Beowulf and there was some freaking exciting set pieces, and there's gonna be some exciting things in here. We're gonna be like, wow, I love that a movie can feel this way. And I also say that 10, 15 years from now, we could get a live action. Like, it doesn't beget. We could have a live action version.
Yeah, I mean,
of
this is sort of
it's
the
an old
first
source
Tintin.
material.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Interesting.
Well, interesting. So I want to talk about a TV show. The upfronts were last week, 2 weeks ago, something like that. We got a lot of information about all of these shows. We're seeing tons of cancellations, tons of pickups, and all these things.
Talked about them last week.
Talked about some in Rad Libs last week. But we got a trailer, really sort of a 5-minute little story. About the new NBC series called Awake, which follows Jason Isaacs as a husband who is in a car crash with his wife and son, who basically both perish in the car crash. But what is happening is he's not actually sure if both of them perished in the car crash or if one of them perished in the car crash or which one, because what he's doing is, as he goes to sleep, he's waking up each time he goes to sleep in alternating realities. Not alternate realities, but alternating realities. One reality in which his son was killed in the car accident, one reality in which his wife was killed in the car accident, and living with the other characters. The trailer articulates this very well, because there's other interesting details. Yes, like each of the worlds have parallel characters. He's a cop who's investigating a murder in one world and a kidnapping in another. He has a partner in one world and a different partner in another. He's going to see a psychiatrist in both. Smart. One psychiatrist played by B.D. Wong, who's amazing, in one reality, and a lady psychiatrist in another reality. Cherry Jones.
Cherry Jones.
Oh, Cherry Jones. I don't even know who that is, but it sounds amazing.
She's the psychiatrist.
Oh, interesting. But I have to say, I'm really excited because I feel like this is the first time that we're getting what could possibly scratch the Lost itch, but that isn't anything to do with the type of stuff that you're getting for these Lost type shows.
Well, it asks a question, but the question isn't the thing.
Right.
Which is so wonderful.
Yes.
It's kind of like those old shows like Quantum Leap. Like, the question of Quantum Leap is he ever going to leap home?
Yeah.
Well, that's not the. I don't tune in every week to find out if he's gonna leap home.
Right.
I did when I was a kid. Gilligan drove me crazy when I was younger. I was so upset when I was younger that like I just
Like, this will be the year. This will be their year.
Mature, wise people.
It's not. It's not just give me more information. It's yes, there's juicy questions, but it's more about the living of the moments, which is I think what the Lost creators thought they were making, but it's not what we wanted to watch. You know?
Are you excited about this?
I rarely am this excited for a television program, folks.
It's shot very well.
Yeah, it's directed by David Slade, who did the pilot, which I'm sure this grabs from. He did Hard Candy and some other movies, but Hard Candy's awesome.
Yeah.
And it is like, it's a completely high concept idea that it marries with emotional resonance that it's like, it's so rare that this happens. I'm so jealous of it that you could have such a high concept sci-fi idea that if you would describe that, like that's just, it's like, it's Twilight Zone episode, you know what I mean? But every moment in this trailer, which I really encourage people to watch, is like, oh, like it's so
Coldplay helps too.
Meaningful. Yeah, Coldplay helps. But it is so like the idea of like this guy can't let either of them go. Like, oh, that's what it's about. It's about that. Like, and it's articulated even better than you would if you attacked the material straight ahead because it's a science fiction like. It just, it's the perfect pairing of things, and it's so well done.
Jason Isaac, amazing. He's Lucius Malfoy in the Harry Potter. Usually plays sort of the British bad guy. Now we get to see him as sort of this like cop. And the other thing is, it's that great flawed character. It's that character where it's the tough guy who is breaking. You know what I mean? And I think it's gonna be a great character.
It looks really a small, simple performance, judging from the trailer, and I'm really excited to see it.
Yeah. All right, people, that is what is on our radar. We will see you later. All right, everybody, be sure to stick around for this day in rad history, but first we want to thank our sponsor. Windows Azure is the cloud platform for developers that lets you focus on building and running apps, not infrastructure. You don't want to focus on infrastructure. You want to be focusing on making hot apps.
In the cloud,
In the cloud. It has scalable pay-as-you-go capacity, meaning developers don't have to wait to develop, get faster speed to market, and generate and meet immediate demands. You know how? By renting only what you need when you need it.
That sounds efficient.
Yeah, it's good. It's a rich platform with built-in connectivity and development tools, meaning you can focus on business logic to get a head start on time to market. So you don't have to sort of focus on all that blah, blah. You can just go blah, blah. Flexible
Thanks for
deployment.
breaking it down.
I like to keep it technical. Flexible deployment gives you the ability to run Windows Azure on your own system. With Windows Azure burst capacity, you can deploy with confidence running your app where and when it makes sense without worrying about overwhelming systems. You don't want to overwhelm your systems. I know that for a fact. To learn more about everything you need to start developing with a Windows Azure, check out Microsoft.com/cloud/Windows Azure. We will see you guys tomorrow.
What is that called, Dan?
It's called.
Don't miss tomorrow's show when we play Tagline Takedown.
Today is May 26th, and on this day in 1978, rad history was made. For the first legal casino in the eastern U.S. opens in Atlantic City, New Jersey. I did not know that Atlantic City was the beginning, and also the beginning of legal casinos.
On the East Coast. It's the
On the East Coast!
It's one of the only.
Because I was like, how early? What, Vegas?
Have you guys heard
lame.
about the crazy thing that just happened recently with the U.S. just basically shutting down all the overseas web casino companies?
No.
Like Full Tilt and all those guys?
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's craziness.
Well, that is illegal.
It's shades of gray, but basically what they did is they seized all the money, and all these people who had online accounts with thousands of dollars in it, of winnings and stuff, nobody has any their money.
But that is illegal. It's illegal for a United States citizen to gamble online.
Well,
that's federal law.
It isn't, actually.
I object.
I mean...
Did Dash Smoosh talk to you?
Smoosh!
Because she sent this in. I was just blown away that like Star Wars had come out and there wasn't AC, Atlantic City, down the shore. You know.
Yeah, where are you gonna put on your bets on the East Coast of whether the Wookiee wins?
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Dash Smoosh, for sending that in.